Hey everybody, welcome to day 334 of Reseller Reflections, a day in life of a full-time reseller supporting her family. It's Thursday, May 8th, 2025, and we did not meet our sales goal today, but I am a reset to zero and ready to roll. All right, so going out with some friends tonight, so that's why I'm a little early. Looking forward to that. So I'm going to go off the cuff tonight and I want to talk about expectations. And the title is Great Expectations. But I've been thinking a lot about expectations, like two sides of this, right? Expectations we put on other people and expectations we put, on ourselves or other people put on us, and kind of where they come from. And so I'm not sure what I want to say with this, but here we go. All right, so expectations, what we put on ourselves, right? We have certain expectations. Maybe that's a business goal, maybe that's a sales goal, maybe that's how we show up as a friend. And we have these expectations of ourselves, and those are probably the most important ones, what we expect of ourselves. And, sometimes I need to stop and re-examine this. I have been very guilty of putting super high expectations on myself, feeling disappointed in myself, and just really feeling defeated. So I've done this in my personal life. I've done this in business by setting like high unachievable goals. And what happens, at the end of this, or I expect myself to do more in a day than I can actually do. And, that's really not good. I can reference our goal setting episodes and talk about that in a business sense and how important it is to set, the right kind of goals. But during the day, like, we really have to think about the expectations we are putting on ourselves. Are they reasonable? Are we able to achieve them? Or are we just setting ourselves up for disappointment? My journey in life has definitely taught me not to, number one, to have realistic expectations, and number two, to only have expectations and that are, thought out and careful, because so much of life is totally out of our control. In the Let Them theory that we're reading in book club, I think that reinforces it. We can't put expectations on other people, on situations that are out of our control, because it really does lead to frustration. Anybody that has kids knows this. Let's say planning a family trip. Trying to get to a 9 to 5 job in the morning, when you have children, especially small children, if they get sick, it's really hard to put that pressure on yourself and give yourself unrealistic expectations. And, I know my kids and life has taught me to really, rethink those expectations. Am I going to feel disappointed in myself? Yes, I am an overachiever. I am just going to put that right up front. It's probably part of the reason that I have these great expectations, and I, started feeling really discouraged and disappointed when things didn't go according to plan. If I had to take a day off work that I hadn't anticipated, I would, it really would weigh on me. And I, there all this pressure that I was putting on myself to be an overachiever, to get straight A's, to do all the things and do them really well. So, I've kind of been learning that lesson over and over again. I think I've gotten a little bit better at expectations of myself and what I actually can do. Hopefully you're thinking about these things. If you feel disappointed in yourself at the end of a day, at the end of a week, maybe re-examine those expectations you're putting on yourself. Are they too much? Are they too hard? Is it more than you can really do? The 12-week year has definitely been teaching a lot of us that we're putting unrealistic expectations on ourselves. All right, the other part of this is expectations we put on other people, on situations, on things we expect of other people. And guess what? We have no control over another human being. We don't even have control over our kids, right? Like, we have sovereignty over ourselves, and that's about it, and our actions. And it's just, gosh, it can be really frustrating trying to control those situations and putting those expectations on other people just because we would act a certain way, just because we would like reach out to somebody if they needed us or check in on somebody. It doesn't mean that that is reciprocal. Everybody has their own lens at which they, their own. Mel Robbins uses a framework. Everybody has their own framework, right? Their own not framework, it's frame of reference, right? They're approaching it from a totally different perspective. And we have to accept that and respect that and not expect somebody to act like we would act, or not necessarily draw conclusions about what they're doing, or what the situation is, or make judgment on how they handle things. I think most of us are moving through life the best we can, and at the moment making the best decisions we can based on the information we have. All right, so that's expectation. So think a little bit. Let's be thinking, as we read the let them theory, as we, move through our business day with our tactics and our success steps and our goals. Let's really think about, like, are we putting expectations on ourselves that really don't need to be there? And are we expecting something of someone else that we shouldn't be? Because I'm going to reference my other episode. No one is coming. This is your business. This is your life. This is what you have control over. So, take what you can't control out of the mix. Yeah. All right. That's what we're going to do. We're really going to think about that and think about how to move forward. I can't tell you how many times, myself included, we have heard, well, my goal was to, I'm going to use reselling here as an example, list, $1,000 today in inventory. But, even though that's my goal, I really want to do 1,200. Is that realistic? Do you really feel like you need to, do that? And you're disappointed if you don't get 1,200. When really, let's say you got 1,000, but you put that extra expectation on yourself that really doesn't need to be there. And really, you don't want to defeat yourself. We all want to win. We all want to do the best we can. We all want to feel good at the end of the day. So think about those expectations, end the day with a win, with a smile, meeting your very realistic goals and expectations. And I will see you on day 335 of Reseller Reflections. Night, night.